path of violence and destruction, and they are reaping the consequences of their horrible decision.
The White House has just accused Iran of pursuing nuclear weapons and announced a military operation that could change the balance of power in the Middle East. The White House accusation. In the statement released during the latest briefing, U.S. officials said the Iranian regime had chosen what they described as a path of violence and destruction, and that Tehran is now facing the consequences of that decision. According to the White House, Iran spent years delaying negotiations and misleading international partners while continuing to expand its ballistic missile program and pursue nuclear capabilities. Officials claimed these weapons programs posed a direct threat not only to U.S. personnel stationed across the Middle East, but also to American allies throughout the region. And that, they said, is why Washington believes military action became unavoidable. The peace offer the U.S. says Iran rejected. The White House also revealed details about what it described as a major diplomatic offer made to Iran before tensions escalated. According to U.S. officials, negotiators were prepared to lift crippling economic sanctions on Iran. They even proposed providing nuclear fuel at no cost to support a civilian nuclear energy program. In addition, Washington offered to participate as an investor in peaceful nuclear energy projects under a mutually agreed international framework. But there was one condition. Iran would have to permanently give up its uranium enrichment capability. The White House says Iran rejected every part of that proposal, and in Washington's view, that refusal signaled something deeper. Officials claim it proved that Iran's leadership was not pursuing peaceful nuclear energy, but rather a nuclear weapon.
The United States have launched Operation Epic Fury.
The announcement of Operation Epic Fury. That assessment ultimately led to a decision by the U.S. president to launch what the White House is calling Operation Epic Fury. According to the administration, the goal of the operation is to neutralize the threats posed by Iran's weapons programs and prevent what they describe as a nuclear-armed terroristic regime. Officials frame the operation as a necessary step to prevent what they warned could have been massive destruction if Iran obtained nuclear weapons. They also emphasized that the United States would enforce its red lines and that this administration would not rely on warnings alone, a message of deterrence. One of the strongest moments in the briefing came when the White House reiterated a message directly aimed at adversaries. The administration stated that when the president issues a warning, it is not a bluff. And those words, officials said, are backed by what they described as the most advanced military capabilities in the world. In other words, the message was clear. The United States intends to demonstrate that its threats are credible. What could happen next? But while Washington frames this as a defensive action, the situation now carries enormous uncertainty. If Iran decides to retaliate directly, or through regional allies, the conflict could expand rapidly across the Middle East. Critical areas such as the Strait of Hormuz, through which a significant share of global oil flows, could become flashpoints. Energy markets, global shipping routes, and military alliances could all be affected if the confrontation escalates further. And history shows that conflicts in this region rarely remain contained for long. For now, the United States says Operation Epic Fury marks the beginning of a new phase, one intended to secure American interests and deter future threats. But the bigger question remains unanswered. Will this show of force prevent a larger war, or could it become the spark that ignites one? The coming days may provide the answer.